Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are live from Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And Timeout Talks is brought to you by Chasin' Thrills custom t-shirts and accessories. Also brought to you by the Ice Shaker and sponsored by Make It Mac. Ben got the stuff here. He's ready to go, keeping me on my A game. As me and Ben were talking a little bit in the pre-show, we've got a lot on the slate for you guys today. A little bit later, we're not quite ready to talk about the Bruins, but we'll be talking about the Bruins later on in the show and their epic meltdown, which me and Ben have been high on them all year. It seems like the one Boston team me and Ben have supported through night in, week out. We are going to talk about the Red Sox a little bit, give you a quick little Red Sox minute. We're going to recap some of the 2023 NFL draft, get you some our predictions, maybe do some grading for our teams. And of course, we will talk about the Celtics 76ers series that is going to kick off our show, followed by some NBA quick takes and recap, some quick little check-in on some of the other series and matchups that are going on as well. And as well, I know the Bruins, are eliminated, but we'll get you a little bit more into our NHL thoughts and who we think is going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. However, we are here on this great Thursday night, the first podcast of May. And for our Star Wars fans, may the 4th be with you. So, Ben, we can kick things off talking some Celtics, who were able to dominate last night and tie the series up 1-1. Jason Tatum didn't even have to play for many minutes. Ben, how are we feeling?
Feeling great about the Celtics, Josh. It was pretty rough 48 hours. Ever since that Bruins loss and then sort of collapse from the Celtics too. We can get into that. We're gonna give Brogdon a pass on that low pass at the end. It was a little crazy, a little play out there. But we're going to move on from that one. It was a little tough, 48 hours, but we're going to forget about that. They turned the tide. Jaylen Brown playing phenomenal, just patting this whole sort of playoffs. He's been going crazy. Tatum, was a little quiet last night. So it's good to see that other guy stepping up. Brogdon, Derek White having some good moments. Al Horford, we got to figure out what's going on with Al. So we still got some question marks, but it was a good bounce back performance, Josh, from a Celtics game. That game one was just perfect. No Embiid. You figure no problem. But James Harden turns back the clock. He's playing like he was 6 years ago. He was going unreal. So you got to give the 76ers credit on that one. They were shooting pretty hot, so I knew they'd come back down to earth. But Josh, I'm feeling pretty good. I've sort of come back from those rough times. With the Bruins in that first game one. And I think, this Joel Embiid injury is probably going to be the downfall for the 76ers team, as it usually is. So I think we're staying good right now. And we got to steal one from them, Josh. We got to go in a billion, steal one right now. But I'm feeling pretty good. And Jaylen Brown stepping up. But Josh, where's Tatum? Tatum's got to pick it up.
And I think he will pick it up. I agree with you. I mean, you got to feel pretty good, especially after game one. They always say the odd games. I know people go back and forth whether it's the odd games or the even games kind of set the tone. However, as you mentioned, Philadelphia and company kind of rewound that clock without Joel Embiid turning to James Harden, who was electric in that game one game. Just watching that game alone, I thought, Philly kind of just gave it everything that they threw everything at the wall and still kind of limped out with the win. However, you turn to game two. The Celtics now 9-1 versus Joel Embiid in the playoffs. That might have even gone up to 10-1. I saw that stat last night floating around. I don't know if it was out there before the game had ended or after, but it's either 10-1 or 9-1. Either way, just complete domination of Joel Embiid. And I know I'm bouncing around here, but just if you take a look at game one, I think, and this is a thing that the Celtics have really bad issue of within the playoffs and without the whole season, is they play down to their competition, Ben. We seen it in that Atlanta Hawks series. They kind of play with their food a little bit, and I think that's what they did in game one. You saw Marcus Smart taking some outlandish shots in crunch time in game one when the ball should have been given to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Brogdon had a couple key turnovers in game one, but however, You fast forward to game 2, completely different story. And that story is a story that I thought was gonna, and I'm gonna kind of reflect on the Bruins here, but be a story of the Bruins. I thought it was gonna be a story of both Boston teams, and that's depth. Just looking at the box score, just watching the game, as you mentioned, Jason Tatum, where has he been? Well, he didn't really have to play in game 2 because there was a lot of support on the bench. Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White having a great game. Jerry's boy, Grant Williams, he's been found. He's actually getting minutes. He had 12 points, was great beyond the three-point line last night. Good defensive anchor. I'll give him his flowers when they're deserved, but I'm not going to jump around the streets of Waltham and Belmont and Watertown and Cambridge and Boston like Jerry does when he has one great performance. But again, I think it's just a testament to how deep this Celtics team is. You know, we thought the Bruins, and I want to keep bringing them up because they deserve to get some slack here, Ben. We were up on them all year, but anyways, all jokes aside, this Celtics team, what we thought of the Bruins team, is just from top to bottom stacked. You take a look at last night's game as well. I thought Joe Mazzulla did although it wasn't in crunch time either, I thought Joe Mazzulla handled the timeouts a lot better. I thought in game 1, there was some crazy stretches going on that was like, when is he going to call a timeout? However, you fast forward to game 2 as well. Last night, they did a great job of that, and runs. It's a game of runs, and it's a game of leads. The Celtics were able to just dominate in transition last night. Again, from beyond the three-point line was great. I loved it from Jaylen Brown, who's probably been their most consistent player. I know we kind of turn our eyes and attention to Jason Tatum. I know some people have even made some quotes of handing the keys over to Jason Tatum. I disagree. I think Jaylen Brown, not that he's the better player, but he's been the better player within the playoffs overall, whether you look at Atlanta or whether you look at this series as well. There's plenty of games to be played, so I do hold my head high for Jason Tatum. I have high expectations, but overall, Ben, there's something about Joel Embiid that he can't get past the Boston Celtics, and I feel great about this. The Bucks just went down. I don't feel great about Mike Budenholzer getting fired because I don't want to see somebody get fired, but they're in a frenzy right now. You don't have to worry about them. There's 2 teams going at it with the Knicks and the Miami Heat. 2 good tough matchups for us, but I feel good about that when you're looking on the outside lens of outside of our matchup. Things are going good right now in Boston, Ben. If you're a Celtics fan and you're an NBA fan, like I said, from top to bottom, this team's stacked, and I agree with you. You take one on the road, maybe it goes. I think on paper it goes 6. You've got to assume Philly's going to take one game at home, hostile environment. They're a good team. They're not just going to lay over. MVP caliber player in Joel Embiid, who at some point you got to assume he's going to be good for a 30 to 40 point performance. But I'll say it goes 6, Ben.
I like that, Josh. I might just stick with you on that 6. Might as well stick it right there. And mentioning my favorite guy too, I'm jumping with Jerry. Grant needed those minutes, and we're seeing what this team looks like with him. I mean, he's been playing all year. I don't know why Mazzulla kind of cut those minutes down. It was a little worrisome with that, but now we're seeing kind of that big difference from the Celtics with that. Like Jeff just bringing up a good point right there. It seemed like they did play better without Embiid. Josh just bringing up some of the runs, and we did make some of our runs last game while Embiid was in there. So I think that's a good sign. Just right now, I think. Tatum can, like we mentioned, Tatum can take the back seat a little right now. Tatum can figure out what's going on because our boy Jaylen Brown's going on. Jaylen Brown is taking this team right now. Everyone knows, hey, listen, I don't want Josh. I don't want to keep saying it's my guy, but I've always been a big Jaylen Brown guy. Batman, Robin
he
comparisons.
Has. I can defend you on that. You have been all in on Jaylen Brown. You've been more of the Jaylen Brown guy. Hey, I'll be here to defend it.
I need Josh in my defense right there, but we're seeing. Just what having these 2 superstars can do. Tatum can take the backseat right now. Obviously he didn't take the backseat in game 1, put up 39. Probably bounce back in this game 3. But some of these games he doesn't have to go off. He doesn't have to do everything. As Josh mentioned, some of the depth of White, Brogdon, Horford, like we mentioned, he's going to figure it out. Hopefully, I think he can. he's shown us too much throughout his whole career here that he's just going to persevere and he's going to bounce back. Just a little rough shooting night, a couple rough shooting nights, but listen, I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt to give us a little, time with that. We can ease him into the series, especially with this Embiid injury. We just got to keep milking this injury. Didn't look too good last night, Josh. I know some spurts he did, but a couple of those takes to the rim, he was limping. He wasn't moving as good as he was. So I think we just need to take advantage of that. And I hate to just keep agreeing, but like I already mentioned, I'll say it's 6. Obviously, as Josh mentioned, I think they're going to get one to Philly. So going to get one Philly. We're going to have to steal one regardless. I think we do that. I think we take care of business back at home. They got their one sort of not lucky game, but I don't think Harden's going to put up 45, and that team's going to be shooting as well. I knew they would have that come down in game 2. Maxi's not going to listen. I love Maxi, but I love him as a player. He's not going to be shooting that well. Throughout this whole series, he's not going to be hitting those threes. He's not that type of player. I would love to have him on the Celtics, but at the 3-pointer, we can let him rip it sometimes. So we can let him, if he's going to beat us, we can let him do that. But I think we should be good going forward, Josh. But I really don't want to say that because I said that about the Bruins, and we obviously saw that, and they're going to continue to receive some slack, Josh. They're going to continue to receive some of that. It's rough.
Oh, for sure. It's well deserved. I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later. I mean, there's plenty you could jump into with that. We've got plenty of time on the show. We've got some other slates as well. But just to bounce off your point and some of what I was saying as well, just put it into perspective here of how deep this Celtics team really is. I was just doing some playing around as you were talking, and I was like, I actually really want to know how much of a, contributing factor just the bench alone has been for the Celtics. And they have scored. Overall, total number isn't going to be a good indication, but that's 245 points just off of the bench for the Celtics scoring. Per game, it's 30.6 per game off of the bench in the 2023 playoffs for the Celtics. So that's like definitely more than 40% of their points are coming from the bench. And when I don't care who you are, and we've seen a lot of this within the entire playoffs, especially the playoff picture this year has very much so been team oriented. We've seen a bunch of teams already get bowed out that we weren't expecting, the Bucks, for instance. But going to the guys off the bench, having the guys like the Grant Williams, the Sam Hausers. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Mike Muscala had 6 points off 5 minutes yesterday. So everybody's getting their licks in. Everybody's getting their kicks in. Shout out to Tyler Mahar, who loves that saying. This Celtics team right now is just great. And to Jeff's comment, I'm going to get to Croissant Man's comment a little bit later because I actually do want to hear your take on that. But we'll wait until we get to the NFL.
What's he saying now?
I'll wait. It's a Twitch comment, so... He's He's got an interesting little take, and you're gonna hit your scoff. I'm just gonna wait for you to get to it a little bit later. But Jeff Warren, I'm worried they're gonna figure out they're better without Embiid. It goes back to that old thing that a lot of fans have been saying recently. You can't win in the playoffs with your center being the best person. The Nuggets right now beg to differ. They're up 2-0, and which. Game 3 tonight. That's going to be very exciting. I wouldn't have seen that coming. But it's an interesting take as well. It fits into this whole little dynamic here with the 76ers being able to play better. And again, I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch here. However, I will say if history is any type of indicator and this season is any type of indicator and just the Boston Celtics team and what I do believe that they're going to win in 6, maybe 7, because I do think that this is probably one of the most complete Philadelphia teams that they've had within recent years, in which we've beaten up on them in those past recent years. But again, history has shown that the Celtics just own Philadelphia. To be honest, as much as it's crazy to say, I think the next round, or even if somehow we were matched up with the Knicks or the Heat, that would probably give me more of a worry. But something about 76ers, they can't get over Boston. Defensively, we match up better with them. Offensively, top to bottom, benches. Aside from like Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, and Joel Embiid, there's nobody else who really scares me. Mr. Inconsistent and Tobias Harris. he's not going to scare me too much. But again, oh, actually, that's hilarious. Jeff Warren still waiting for the inevitable Tobias Harris game, too. So, again, Mr. Inconsistent and him, I'm not going to hold my head high if I'm a 76ers fan. Again, it seems like I'm throwing a lot of shade, but if history is any indicator, I'm taking the Celtics in 6. Defending Eastern Conference champs. I know that's probably not something to hang a banner up. But, again, let my little rant end here. The Boston Celtics were winning 6. I will say that was a gutsy win from Philadelphia in game 1, but I think it was just Celtics playing with their food. They played great last night. I'm going to say they go up 2-1, and then the 76ers tie it for game 4. I just think going into game 3, there's way too much momentum in Boston's favor, but that'll kind of wrap up my Celtics take. I'll let you get to yours. Last final thoughts before we move on to just the total 2023 playoff picture. I want to see who Ben's got coming out of some of these other matchups. But again, I like the Celtics in 6. I think the 76ers are good, but a hobbled Embiid and a team that just can't get past the Celtics in general, I'm not going to take my chances with them. I'm going to stick to my hometown team, the loyal team, the team that I've been back and forth on and gave a little less credit to compared to the Bruins, but I digress. I'll take the Celtics in 6.
Yeah, me too, Josh. I fell for it as well. The Bruins were just looking so good, but biggest chokers out there. People forget that. I usually was yelling at the Celtics team for that, but Bruins always kind of remind me that they're the ultimate chokers around here. So I just wanted to make that point about the bench points. It's going to be a cause for the downfall of the Suns. That's a great point from Josh. I think the Suns have a total of 14 bench points so far in this Denver series. Not good. I think Brogdon just put up 20. So kind of already outscoring that bench in one game. It's just kind of been KD and Booker over there. Kind of annoyed them already coming out of the West as soon as that KD trade went down. So that's on me. That Suns team not looking too good. I think the Nuggets coming out that one. I just want to put that one out there, Josh. So watch out for the Nuggets. I know you kind of mentioned that, but they kind of getting a little disrespected all the time. But I just want to put that out there. We'll get to them, but yeah, I think Celtics in 6. It's going to be easy. Not easy, but I think the hard part's done. We got through that game 1. They're going to take it. Harden put up 45. It's not going to happen again. So they had the crazy shooting night. We got that other system. I came back down to earth yesterday. As Jeff mentioned, hey, play a little worse with Embiid. We got to take advantage of that. And like Josh mentioned, his guy Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is going to be trying to beat us. I'm all for it. If he beats us, he beats us. And we got to hang our hat on that. It's going to be pretty bad, but I think the Celtics team is in control of the series now. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself again. Bruins. So, but I got 6. I got 6 for the Celtics. And yeah, we'll do it with these, but be some difficult moments.
I agree with that. And I made a little butchered mistake here. It's actually only the Lakers and Warriors on tonight. That's game 2 in Golden State. Yeah. Lakers up 1-0. And we're just going to hop right into some of these matchups as well. I know Ben was kind of alluding a little bit to and / previewing the fact that he might have the Nuggets actually coming out of that series. And I think the last time we talked, both me and you kind of came to the consensus on Timeout Talks that we had the Suns and Celtics in the NBA Finals.
Whoops.
I'm not ready to kind of move on. I'll let you know in a second, but overall, just taking a look at all the series, we'll look at Lakers up 1-0. That game's 2's on tonight. Celtics tied. We've gotten into that. Nuggets commanding 2-0 lead. Going into Phoenix for game 3. So that's interesting. Phoenix can tie it up with their little quick short homestand there. You're coming over back to the Eastern Conference. We've got the New York Knicks and Miami Heat tied up 1-1. So within these 4 matchups left, we've got one tonight. I think that quickly, I'm just going to get off with the best one there. The series that I think has the best potential to go 7. Actually, I think the Golden State one can too, but the Knicks and the Miami Heat, I go back and forth on. I'm going to say the Heat win in 7 just because I think they have the better coach. No disrespect to Tom Thibodeau. Eric Spoelstra's got a great little foundation and system over there. I think, Jimmy Butler is probably the best player as well in terms of the series. I love what Jalen Brunson and company have done. Very team oriented over there in New York, which is something kind of not used to seeing with the Carmelos and just a lot of the different types of phases that they've gone through. But however, I do have a lot of respect for them. They're the higher seed as well. I probably have more home games, but I like the Heat in 7, which scares me a little bit if you're a Celtics fan. But I think that series goes 7. Just want to throw that one out there.
Yeah, that's an intriguing one. I'll take the Heat in 6. Take the Heat a little better. I mean, this Heat team's so scrappy. Both these teams pretty scrappy. I love MSG too. Mentioned it last time. Love seeing those playoff games back at the Garden, the other Garden for them. So I mean, the crowd gets after it, but I think Jimmy Butler's just a different kind of beast, as Josh has mentioned, and I mean, as everyone's seen, controlling that Milwaukee series. I know he's a little banged up right now, but you saw that team fight in that game too. Knicks, they barely got out of that one. They controlled that at the end, but I mean, that was a close game all around. He gave them everything they got. They still got some scrappy guys. Gabe Vincent, putting up some stuff. Caleb Martin, not bad. I mean, that guy was going off a little in game 2.
Strus.
Yeah, Max Strus. I mean, Kevin Love making an appearance again for the playoffs. So he was in a couple threes, missed a couple clutch ones. And ultimately, probably led to that downfall in game 2. But I don't know, Josh. There's something about this Miami Heat team. Obviously Jim Butler's got me in the fold for this to happen. So I think, he's going to come back healthy, ready to go. That's why he sat out that game. Obviously, he just wants to be 100%. And I think, with, whatever percentage they get from him, I think they're going to take that series. But that's going to be one of the better ones. Obviously, I think all 3 of these are going to be great. To be honest, I think they're all just sort of great matchups right now. Going to Charlie's little cheese comments. He's got Golden State winning tonight. I do too. Gotta take the spread. I think it's a big bounce back. But I agree with that second part as well of his comment. Taking the Lakers in the series. I mean,
interesting.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna back him on that one just because I don't like the Warriors. I want to see LeBron get through over there. I think that'd be a little easier matchup for us. But set that aside a little. Actually, I kind of would like to see the Warriors maybe try to take him out, get that revenge. I know I switched on live, Josh. I mean, come on, it would be nice to get that revenge on them. But I think that series is just going to be great. I hope too. I mean, just that energy from game 1, AD putting 30 and 23 together. I did not see that coming. I thought the Warriors. If you tell me Clay, Jordan Poole, and Steph hit 6 threes each, and they lost the game, I tell you, you're crazy, especially against that Lakers team that really doesn't shoot that well. But AD was just bringing back some vintage performances, and LeBron was going off. So I'm excited to see what the Lakers can bring tonight and see if they can bring some of that energy back. But I think Golden State just comes out here tonight on a mission. I'm going to smack them. I think it's just going to be that. Ultimately, I think the Lakers magic will sort of run off in this one. They'll realize, hey, we got one. We stole one. That's all we needed. Let's just go back home. Let's finish the job over there. So I agree with Chi on that one. And ultimately, I know I just switched back, but Josh, I'm going to switch with the Lakers. I'm going to stick with the Lakers winning that series. I'd like to see the Lakers win that one. LeBron fan, so I like seeing LeBron go off. And no, that Lakers team is a little interesting too. So I got the Lakers in that one. As I mentioned, Josh, I mean, let's go Nuggets. I'm all in on Nikola. Just going off 39-point game last time. He's just unbelievable. And the Suns, they're just in disarray, Josh. It's just KD and Booker, so they got to figure it out. I know that Chris Paul injury is tough, but it's literally just those 2 guys out there right now.
Like you said, I mean, and like I said too as well, there's only so much you can do with just 2 guys. I mean, if I'm going to look around the board, I would love to find comfort in knowing that those 2 guys are my 2 primary scorers and guys to lean on in a series like that. I'm not counting them out yet. I mean, the hole is pretty large for them to climb out of, but I'll get to them in a second. But to your point, I think the Lakers are going to lose the series. I'm going to say it goes 7. Warriors are gonna win. I can't go against my guy Curry. We
He
already
loves
know
his
about
Warriors.
him. I don't love the Warriors. And Cam,
Get him
it
riled
was a
up.
little bit of a switch up this week. We are on Thursday, but we're going to be back to our Tuesdays next week and moving forward. So be ready for that. Apologize for that little inconvenience there, Monagle. But yeah, I like the Warriors. I think that they match up well with the Lakers. I think taking that game one performance, there was, I don't know. I kind of felt I feel like when I was talking to Jared the other day, and I feel like AD has to be on this like 100%, like giving it his all every single game, and it's gonna fall. It's just it's written in the walls. It's written everywhere. He's gonna get hurt, or it is just gonna implode on them. I feel like the Warriors are more fundamentally sound. You look at the career head to head with Curry and LeBron, and I know everybody's gonna scoff and go, "Oh my God, that was a lot of those games to account for were when LeBron James played for the Cavs. This is like a different generation now." I think it matters, and looking at a lot of the Lakers bench, it's a lot of younger guys. They're relying on Austin Reeves, Hachimura. I like these acquisitions. I think that they were a lot of great pickups to kind of put them over to the next series, but I don't like this matchup here. Croissant Man agrees with me. He's saying I'm spitting. I like what the Warriors have got going. We
Yeah,
haven't seen Jordan Poole at his top here. It's just a recipe for disaster. James always says it. It's like the Lakers, they have this nice fancy car, they get a nice new Tesla, and then they break it, and then they come back with a nice 2023 Camaro supercharged, and then the wheels start to fall off. You need a bunch of oil changes, you're not keeping up with it. And then you get a nice pickup truck, Ford F-150 Platinum, and then all of a sudden you get into a big car crash. The wheels are going to come off. The ceiling's going to cave in. It's written in the wall for this Lakers team. And I think they need to lean on, and the guy that I've been calling the catalyst for them for years now is Anthony Davis. I'm going to steal the words of Jared Houston. We know what LeBron James is going to give you night in and night out. We don't know what Anthony Davis and company is going to give you night in and night out. This Warriors team is more veteran established. They just went through a great series against the Kings. I like this Warriors team. I'm sorry, Charlie. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm sorry, all those Warriors haters. I'm sorry, Ben. But I'm going to take the Warriors in 7.
Yeah, Croissant Man. Just Eric. Yeah, he's a Warriors
Let's go,
fan, so
Eric.
that's why he's siding with Josh and all this. That's why he's spitting all that stuff right there. He just loves his Warriors. So I gotta take that with a little bias right there for Borky. But hey, I was in the same boat as Josh. I can't lie. I thought this was gonna be a bad matchup for the Lakers. Uh, obviously, I'm not going to go fully on Josh, with the AD stuff. Listen, I think AD, obviously, injuries, it's very injury prone and everything. But after that performance, I don't know. I don't know if it's written in the walls anymore with this stuff. I mean, he put up 30 and 23, and I just didn't expect them to win that game at all. I didn't expect them to get that, and they just put up a fight, and they get up. Well, like I mentioned, I mean, 6 threes from Curry, Poole, and Steph. They just withstood all the runs from the Warriors. Don't get me wrong. This, like Josh said, I agree. This probably go 7. But I don't know. If the Lakers can withstand that, and AD produces some of those games, he doesn't have to do it every night. They'll obviously lose some games, but I mean, if you could just give out some of those vintage performances, I think this Lakers team's got a chance, because I really didn't see them winning that game one. I didn't really give them a chance at all, and they proved me wrong. Withstood everything the Warriors gave them. They were still standing. And I think, as Josh mentioned, some of those young guys, I think it is credit to some of these young guys. Rui, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, obviously D'Angelo
Great
Russell.
game, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, these guys stepping up big. And Josh mentioned it was about a point. Let's see if they can last. It'll be age taking effect, but so far so good for them. So I'm going to lean with the Lakers. Look at everybody. Josh's Warriors. We got to slip that one on that. Everybody knows about that. If you know, you know. But it's all right. We like to have fun with Josh in that one. But we got to be a little different. And back to that Nuggets, gonna switch stance on the Suns. I'm all on the Nuggets. Like I mentioned before, I just want to put that one out there again. All in on the Nuggets.
That's fair. And I will say one
Easy
thing just
take.
to finish off the Lakers Warriors, just predictions and takeaways. I will give you that. Anthony Davis, and I floated out that post from Twitter. It was like asking who's the best defender right now. It's like Anthony Davis, Drew Holiday, Jaren Jackson Jr., who won Defensive Player of the Year, and Marcus Smart. And everybody kind of had their different takes. I will say Anthony Davis right now left in the playoffs is probably the most locked in, like dialed in defensively and offensively, to your point. And I will say, like, I am a huge fan, like a huge advocate for him being like their number two. He's probably one of the most like dominant players in the league, that we've seen in quite some time. Not throwing him up there with Shaq, but again, he's the catalyst, and I think it runs through him. And I will give you that. I will give them the flowers. He's been better, but I had this feeling. History shows. It seems like if history's any indicator, has been my like key saying tonight. But again, all jokes aside, I think it goes 7. If history's any indicator, the wheels are going to come falling off. But I will give you that, Ben. He's been great. And, just kind of flipping over here before we switch over to the 2023 NFL Draft. Last final takeaways. Nuggets, Suns. The Suns are in a deep, deep spot right now. This is a must-win game tomorrow. Like, you cannot go down 3-0. They're at home. I'm going to say that they win. I'm going to say they somehow tie this series. I don't know how. I'm going to take my, like, gut feeling with that. Kevin Durant's not going to go away. Devin Booker, these two, they've got to muster up, like, career performances together and somehow find a way to work out. I think that they're going to do that. I know that they've ruled out Chris Paul for games, 2, 3, and 5, or he might be out all the way until game 5. It's something like that.
I believe up until 5, Josh.
Up till game 5, who's just like always hurt. Talk about Anthony Davis. I'll give my boy Chris Paul slack here. He's been like, he always finds a way to get hurt in big moments, but I digress. I won't switch my stance. I'll say the Suns somehow pull it out. Maybe they can turn on some key bench players. I don't know who that'll be for you, but they're not completely done yet. Maybe Kevin Durant, this is your time to muster up some great basketball. He spent a lot of the time on the sidelines this year, and I'll say that they tie the series. I'll get back to you once that series is tied, but you've gotta win these next two. You're in a deep hole. And I'll stick to my thoughts here. I think the Suns tie the series. And Jeff, it is a must-win for the Warriors tonight. You don't want to go down 2-0 going into LA, hostile environment. Those fans have been aching and dying for, playoff basketball in the stands since we're talking about Kobe Bryant, because it was in the bubble since the last time they made the playoffs. So if you're the Warriors, it's a must-win game tonight. Then you just go, you feel great. You can go home, go into LA, steal one game. But yeah, I'm gonna say the Suns still win the series somehow. It's looking like the Nuggets are finally going to be able to do it, but I won't switch my stance yet. We'll see. Maybe they can kind of hold the fort down until Chris Paul gets back, tie that series up. But I'll stick to the Suns, Ben. I'll do it. It's only fair.
Yeah, I'll do the unfair thing. I'll wimp out. I'm gonna take the Nuggets in 6. I'm gonna get out of that one.
Probably the smart move.
I'm sorry, Josh.
That's fair.
I'll give you the Suns. It's just, but I was wrong. I was wrong. Just as Josh said earlier in the show. I mean, you get 2 guys in there. You think this team is just gonna be so easily put together. Just bring KD in, everything's gonna work out. But you got other guys out there. You got those 2 guys just can't score every point. They gotta just have that chemistry and that depth, and they just didn't have it. KD's injuries throughout the season when they acquired him. That team never got together. Obviously, as we mentioned, the CP3 injury now. And DeAndre Ayton's going a little missing. Jokic run circles
Big
around
time.
him, obviously. Yeah, I mentioned that 39-16 game, obviously, his past one. He's just killing them right now. So really just KD and Booker out there. So I'll take the Nuggets in 6. That's to answer Jeff's question, 2 must win for the Warriors. LeBron 31-0 anytime he's had a 2-0 lead in the playoffs. So I
Nice
don't want
stat
to do
there,
that.
Ben.
Yeah, it's
Look at
so
that,
so it's either 31 or 33. So I want to put an
Ben. You
asterisk. I want to put
sounded
an asterisk.
confident. You
I
sounded
know I
confident.
did.
You
I
should have
did.
just rolled with
I
it.
heard it on Sports Center. I heard it on Sports Center
Okay.
a little while ago. So I put it in the back of the head, but obviously not too far in there. I didn't remember too much. This was either 31, 33. Nevertheless, the main point, you don't want to go down until LeBron 2-0 in the series. Not going to be looking good. So must win for the Warriors. I think that happens. But I got the Lakers in 7. Me and Josh got to split that one. And just for people that didn't hear, I got the Heat. Yeah, Heat in 6. And, that little scrappy series with the Knicks.
So it looks like we agree on the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
Western, completely
this is a
different
little out there.
sides. We'll see. We got some plenty more basketball left in the second round. However, we're going to flip over to the NFL, which I'm going to get to our comment in a second here. But actually, yeah, we'll get to the comment now before we get all into it. And that comment is coming from Croissant Man. Shout out Eric. Ben, how's church? Question mark. Praise be to God. So I'm going to let Ben take the wheel for that one.
Man, church has been all right. Looking at that halfway point for it. Can't wait to get to the football season underway, so I don't gotta keep going and listen to all that.
So
But
when do you are you like actually sticking to this? And when do you go?
yeah,
Is it
yeah,
in
you
the
have
morning?
to. Yeah, you have
Just
to.
by
Sundays at
yourself and
10.
just strolling.
Sundays at 10,
Sundays
Sacred
at
Heart in
10.
Waltham. My old church that I used to go to. So
Oh, fair.
yeah, if I don't have to eat a hot chip, so I really don't want to eat that. I already had to eat that once. Those aren't pretty fun unless you really like spicy food and kind of a freak like that.
Hot
It's really,
chip or church.
it's yeah, it's not. Don't lose in fantasy football.
So is it that bad? The hot chip's that bad where
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah. It's
wanna.
that bad. Yeah, it's that bad. It's pretty hot. It's hottest peppers in the world.
Oh
Into
jeez.
one chip. So it's not fun. You can look up videos for it. It's not fun at
Might
all.
have to.
But you want to avoid that. So, and you want to avoid being last in fantasy football. You want to get a good team. She mentioned, yeah, best NBA playoffs in a while. Listen, hey, come on, NBA
Ben
playoffs always
almost
put on.
Ben almost went to the ICU after the first hot chip. Is this true? Can we confirm?
No, that's
ICU.
it's a little exaggerated. Maybe I like to put on a show for everybody. But yeah, that hot chip was no joke.
I wish.
Uh,
Is there a video of this? Can we like this? Has to be.
no, there wasn't.
Nobody pulled out
Nobody.
the cameras.
It was a little too crazy. It was a little too
Okay.
crazy right there. It was a little too much of the hot chip for me. A lot of ice was consumed, a lot of water.
Milk
Uh,
too, I guess they
yeah,
say.
milk. You gotta get
Milk
that
and
milk in
bread.
there. Milk, bread, throw it all in there.
Allegedly. Uh-oh, Eric. Somebody, you guys know my social media.
Hey, you can send
Somebody
it to
drop that
somebody.
in the DMs.
You can send it to Joshy boy.
We stopped
But
recording. It was so sad /
yeah.
concerning. I'm sorry. We're taking
It
time
was,
on it.
it
I
was
love
pretty
this.
sad. It was pretty good.
That
Was
bad.
pretty
Did
concerning.
you?
Yeah, that's why there's no video. Listen, it was pretty hot. It's no joke. That's what I'm
Where does
saying.
this? Where?
Discretion advised. You can buy it online.
I was just gonna say, where does one
You can
get
just
this?
buy it online. Search it. They got them in the convenience store sometimes. There's obviously some regular chip. They make them condensed into like chips too.
Wow.
But I mean the real stuff.
Okay. So
You
Ben,
don't want
it's
to be
that
eating
bad
that.
that Ben is gonna
Yeah,
go to consecutive
and I
weeks
like
of
spicy
church.
stuff too. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
spicy stuff.
that's
So it's pretty bad, but we'll be done with that soon.
so you're
And we'll be drafting a better team, Josh, this
so
year
you
in
heard it
fantasy.
here first. They're
Better bet
$4
that.
on Amazon, Jeff. Thank you. Wow, that's okay. Don't float that around for our fantasies. You don't want to come in last, and I just beat myself to the point there. You heard it here first on
That's right.
Timeout Talks. You do not want to come in last. You don't want to try this chip. It's that bad that Ben's going to church every week. Not that that's a bad thing, but that's a big commitment if you are not a church goer. However, Ben talking about his fantasy
Big
football
commitment.
team draft. However, it was last week was the 2023 NFL draft, and it was getting pretty much kicked off around this time. We had some big drafts. The Patriots drafting Christian Gonzalez, as you can see here on the screen. I got one right. It was Broderick Jones going to the Steelers. I got that one right.
There we go,
And
Josh.
I
Thank
got
you.
this one completely wrong. Mozzie Smith to the Cowboys. I wanted my boy, Michael Mayer. However, it didn't work out. I'm liking what I'm hearing out of Mozzie Smith. So I'll calm down. Bryce Young going first overall. But Ben, I'm going to turn it to you. I'm going to have you start us off here. How are you feeling about your team's draft, the Cowboys draft, the Patriots draft? You know what? Heck, I'm going to open it up to the whole NFL. Ben, I want you to tell me who had the best draft, who had the worst draft, and how you're feeling about your team's draft.
Worst one, easily the Lions. I don't know what the Lions are doing. They just get David Montgomery, obviously. Now, looking at it, it's sort of, yeah, moving on from DeAndre Swift makes a little more sense, but yeah, Jameer Gibbs, I didn't think they had a reach on him that high. Taking my best fun Seahawks again, killing it. Again, Devin Witherspoon pairing him up with Woolen. So that's just gonna be a great pairing over there. That team is just getting deeper and deeper. The Seahawks just killed it. My Steelers. Broderick Jones, first one, as Josh mentioned, got that right. That was a great pick. You're welcome to the Patriots fans too, and thank you. Nice little trade with the Patriots for that pick. We got in front of the Jets, so
That
the
is
Jets,
true.
the Jets were eyeing them. The Jets were going to get him, and the guy to protect Aaron Rodgers. But hey, they ended up getting some random linebackers, so that was nice for them. They both a little later on in the draft, but they really wanted Broderick Jones, so. You're welcome, Patriots fans, for that, and thank you for the pick. So Broderick is going to be huge for us. He's going to step in, just fill one of the tackle needs because both tackles right now are not up to par. So it's basically take your pick with Broderick Jones. He's going to be an upgrade. It's just who's going to get it, Dan Moore or Okafor. I always mispronounce his name, so it's whatever. But he's got to start playing better if he wants me to pronounce it a little better. So we got that, and I mean Joey Porter Jr. coming home in the second round. That was great. Getting Darnell Washington too, sliding all the way down to us. It's gonna be huge for the run blocking. Nice to have that massive tight end. It's massive, like 6'6", 240. He's gonna be huge for us. Got a nice cornerback at the end, Kobe Trice Jr. So Steelers thought they did well, and as Josh mentioned, I was a little bummed. Cowboys they didn't take a tight end for own personal reasons. I love that they would take him. Thanks, Cowboys, for disappointing me in that one. But overall, I think they did a good job taking Mozzie Smith. Micah Parsons. I was trying to think about that video. Seemed pretty ecstatic to have him. So when your best player on that defensive side's happy, I think you're overall did a good job with that team. So he's great to have him. Micah Parsons is going to be able to just rush a little more easily and a little more often, I should say, because he's going to be plugging that hole for the Cowboys run stopper Mozzie Smith, and they got that tight end Luke Shoemaker, I believe his last name. So got that tight end need and filled the void in that defensive line. Great job from them. Patriots, Christian Gonzalez, just filling some defensive needs, Keon White. So I think overall, great drafts from everybody. Let me forget who the Seahawks got in that the 20th pick. They nailed that 20th pick too. I'll look that up. But overall, best draft goes to the Seahawks. Worst draft, Lions. Come on, what are the Lions doing? I think Steelers. I don't want to be a homer too, but I think it went Steelers, Cowboys, and Patriots in order for best drafts. Not that anyone had a bad draft, but I think the Steelers just finally just knocked out of the park. Finally did something for me.
I agree. I thought the Steelers had a great draft. They went out and got arguably one of the best cornerbacks in the draft and arguably one of the best linemen in the draft. I had them getting Broderick Jones. I was excited. I was like, wow, it was like kind of a later pick in the draft where it gets kind of dicey to predict it right. They ended up landing Broderick Jones, the guy you had going to the Patriots. And what made it even funnier was the fact that they made the trade essentially to draft him. So funny little timeout talks thing there. Everybody has their little fun things, but I guess Den was kind of close with that one in some ways. But yeah, I thought the Steelers knocked it out of the park. Again, Darnell Washington, great size, great tight end. I heard tremendous things about him. I know the Cowboys were interested in him, or a lot of the fans of the Cowboys were. They kept the Porter family in the Steel Curtain city there. Pittsburgh Steelers getting another great cornerback. And to answer your point on the Seahawks 20th pick it was Jackson Smith-Njigba, and they took Devin Witherspoon. I thought they had a tremendous, probably if not the best draft. Eagles as well, Jalen Carter. A lot of people love Nolan Smith. I thought they got Keely Ringo for great value a little bit later in the
Georgia.
draft.
Basically, it's just
Yeah.
the University of Georgia, Josh.
And it was one of these things that if you could bet on it, it was floated out for a while. A lot of people wanted them to kind of pair up Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. They floated that idea out for a while. They were able to do it. They bolster up that run protection there for the Eagles and that defensive front, which a lot of key players actually departed for the Eagles. I like it. I thought they had a pretty good draft. I thought the Patriots did a pretty good job as well, Ben. Went out, got, in my opinion, the best cornerback in the draft. They traded out. Everybody was like, oh my God, it's typical Patriots fashion. That's okay. They traded back a couple picks, 3 picks later to your pick. And they drafted, in my opinion, the best cornerback in the draft, Christian Gonzalez. We know what he's capable of doing from Oregon. So, again, pretty good need there. I know a lot of people were kind of shooting for a wide receiver. They didn't do that. They drafted one way later, Booty, who... it's got the potential. Just had a weird little swinger thing going on there. That's what kind of killed his draft stock. But again, a lot of upside for him. If you're Dylan Kiley, you're ecstatic because he's a huge LSU fan. But again, I thought the Patriots did a great job. I thought the NFL draft lived up to the hype. First round was great. I thought the Raiders made a couple good picks as well, getting some offensive protection there for Jimmy Garoppolo, going out and getting my guy Michael Mayer, making a couple, gutsy trade-ups. Yeah, for the worst draft, I don't know. I know the Lions had some head scratchers. I think the Bengals had a couple missed opportunities there in terms of linemen, and I know that they passed up on a couple tight ends that were available on the board, but I don't want to sit here and say that they had a bad draft. Overall, I thought it was good. I will say one thing to kind of play devil's advocate. I know the Lions are huge on Jahmyr Gibbs. They're going to use him in a lot of different packages, kind of the plug-and-play difference maker, and kind of just to replace DeAndre Swift. I see Ben going, what the hell's up with that? I thought it was a head-scratcher as well, but he might be worth it in terms of, it's kind of like I view it like this, like a Travis Etienne move for them. I think they're going to kind of use him a lot. I wouldn't have made that pick if I'm the Lions. I think that there was probably a couple other players that were better out there for them to get with some pretty big needs. But however, it's the decision they like. I think they're going to use him a lot. So in fantasy, he might not be a bad pick. But again, be interesting to see what happens. Actually, no, DeAndre Swift did get traded.
Yeah, he's on the Eagles. He's on
the Eagles. So again, Eagles just stacking up that roster. And yeah, I actually forgot about this team. I thought they had a pretty good draft as well. Charlie O'Donnell, Colts will regret getting Richardson at early. I have never been crazy on Richardson. We know that, Ben. I've been very loud about that on the podcast. But overall, I thought they had a pretty good draft. They assessed some needs. And I know James has mentioned this point, and I think I'm going to mention it as well. They needed to draft a quarterback within the top 10 picks, or else the media was going to kill them. The front office was going to get heat. The fans were going to kill them. I think that was kind of the move that the Colts needed to do. Whether Richardson pans out or not, that's to be determined. But again,
I like him.
He's got a lot of upside. A lot of people compare him to Josh Allen, Cam Newton. But again, I think a lot of the teams kind of nailed it in the draft. I think there was a couple head scratchers, but overall, I thought our 3 teams did a pretty good job. I would have had it ranked Steelers best out of our 3 teams being Patriots, Steelers, Cowboys. I would have had it Steelers with the best draft, Patriots number 2, Cowboys 3. But again,
Cowboys 3.
Cowboys assessed a lot of needs, so I won't get crazy on them. Will McClay's done a fantastic job in our drafting department and just scouting overall, so I definitely have faith in him. And before I turn it over here to Ben and we turn over to the Bruins, just want to say hello to Xander for joining us. So shout out Xander, who is on YouTube, I believe. Love to see those YouTube viewers.
Let's get those YouTube views up. And keep it short and sweet, just wrapping it up just so we can get to the Bruins. Even though I really could care less about them right now. I'm still a little upset about them. But yeah, just the Seahawks with that 20th pick, just clarifying, they got Jackson Smith-Njigba the wide receiver at Ohio State. So that wide receiver room now is DK Metcalf, Lockett, and him. Noah Fant, a tight end. They got Zach Charbonnet in the later rounds too to pair up with Kenneth Walker. So Seahawks just keep getting better. That was just a great move from them. That offense is looking great. Obviously, again, Devin Witherspoon just bolstering that defensive side, and defensive backfield. And as I mentioned, the Lions are spare playing. They got Jack Campbell with that 18th pick. A lot of guys, maybe day 2, day 3 guys. So kind of reach with both picks. Obviously, that DeAndre Swift one makes the Jahmyr Gibbs, as we both mentioned, a little more sense, but still kind of reached with him a little. But I don't know, Josh. We got to put the Patriots down at the bottom. I don't know about the Cowboys.
Wow.
He's got to put that. I'm going to stick with the Patriots at the bottom.
He's got to do it. He's got that
Slip
hometown rivalry in there. Not hometown, but yeah, I guess Patriots, Steelers, they hate each other. We're gonna move forward here because we're running out of time, and we've got the amount of time that it's just, there's a lot to unpack in this. If you're Tyler, if you're a diehard Bruins fan, you can shut it off respectfully if we lose all viewers because they're not ready yet to talk about it. That's fine, but legit, it says from the beginning on the title there, Bruins squander history. Cam, I will give you an MLB take right as we wrap up the show because I did say we were going to talk about some MLB. But in the headline right there, Bruins squander history. Historically, the best team in NHL history. Talk about blowing leads, 3-1 lead, 3-2 lead, empty net goal. All three of those things stand out to my mind, Ben. I'm going to turn it over to you in a second, but the one way I'm going to just sum it all up is it's all in a cycle. We've seen the Bruins kill it in the regular season and then they fall off. We've seen the first line's production and the second line's production go crazy and then fall off in the postseason. I think everybody's to blame here. Going back to that repeating cycle, we've seen the goaltenders kill it in the regular season and then they fall off. We've seen the head coaching and the coaching decisions be unbelievable and then they fall off. I think that this is the 1 year, Ben, we cannot turn to the front office. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be like some of the Bruins fans I've seen. Oh, they waited too late into some of these guys' careers. That's just horse crap. They did what they had to do. They were aggressive at the trade deadline. They gave our fans and our organization the best chance possible to win, and the Bruins just squandered it. The Panthers were the better team. And again, history repeats itself. Last year going into the season, we were like, what the hell are we going to do? Bergeron's a free agent. We didn't know what Krejci's status was. We just fired our head coach. We're in the same exact situation now where we don't know Bergeron's status. We don't know Krejci's status. We got some of these guys in Orlov and Bertuzzi. I've been hearing mixed things where, we might not be able to keep both. We might have to choose one or the other, or we might not even keep either. So it's a complete frenzy, as you'd expect after the season had just ended. But again, they squandered history. They squandered it again. I'm going to bash them because it's only fair. And I thought from top to bottom that they had it done, but clearly it's bigger than the talent and the depth because it's just they can't get over that hump. And I just want to say kudos to the Florida Panthers who are giving the Toronto Maple Leafs all that they can handle. They are a team to be messed with. And Tyler mentioned it. Very great point as well. This is a very deep team. Also, shout out to James and shout out to their coach over there for making that switch to Bobrovsky. That was the call of the century, who quite single-handedly, Ben, saved their entire season with that breakaway stop on Brad Marchand. Just got to bring it back to that. But again, shout out to them. I'm rooting for the Dallas Stars left because the Rangers are gone, Avalanche are gone. It'd be cool to see Kraken, but I like the Dallas Stars. And Cam Monagle, just choke artists. And yeah, I'm going to leave this one to Ben to answer because we've got a lot of stuff that I threw at the wall. But Cam, coming in, what do you think? Ullmark had this crazy injury. Okay, don't play then. Again, that goes to coaching. But Ben, I'll turn it to you because I know you have deserved every right to ramble about them as well. So
yeah, This one, Josh, yeah, this one hurts. Just trying to think back to Cam's comment too. I don't know about this Olemark injury. I don't know when it occurred, but yeah, I mean, if you're injured. That's the point of having another great goaltender behind him. Let Swayman play. Probably should have put Swayman in game six. Olemark just wasn't there. Just with some horrendous performances in there, and just sad to see because it just kind of erases that great season he had. Um, but this team just played too tight. You kind of forget that we're up 3-1 in the series, just dominating everything. And they just couldn't do it. They just couldn't close it out as usual. Just the Panthers in that OT, Josh. I mean, that last OT session just dominated us. There just wasn't any life from us. Wasn't any movement. Uh, Pasternak, besides that sick goal. I mean, that was a sick goal. It was great, but really didn't really score any other times from that. And we just choked it away. So I think, as Josh mentions, all of us, Cam saying choke artists. Yeah, I mean, that's on Olemark too, but I think everyone's the choke artist in this one. We just let it get away. I think we kept thinking that we got them after, every loss. We got them next game. We got them next game. And we let them come to TD Garden and just beat us on our home ice. And I mean, down 2-0 with a battle back like that and be up 3-2, I thought, no way we can blow this. 59 seconds left, and you think just get through this 59 seconds and we're good. But once they tied it up and once we were going to overtime, I knew, Josh, we weren't coming out with this one. It was just sad to see. Just, obviously, as you mentioned too, I mean, just Bergeron, Krejci. We get a little further for them, but now, the questions, how are we going to fill those shoes? Krejci definitely out, Bergeron most likely out. So, but even if he comes back next season, you guys have to just think future. He's not here for much longer. Gotta fill that void, and that's gonna be a huge void left. So, big questions. Pasternak's gotta answer some of them too. Is he the superstar that we can rely on? Obviously, he's great in the regular season and everything, but postseason time comes, and really kind of. It just kind of puts things in perspective, and I didn't know that from Jeff. Jeff coming to Bergeron played with the slip disc. That is pretty crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So you kind of, as Josh mentioned too, some of the coaching too. Why is he coaching's at blame too? Everyone's at blame. Why is he playing in that last Montreal game? Why are these guys playing in some of these last games? I got everything wrapped up. Maybe we think about that record a little too much, but obviously, Captain Hindsight right there. Obviously, you could say it now, but it's a tough one because I think really could beat that Panthers team. We'll love to play this Maple Leafs team right now. We're playing right now. Maple Leafs up 2-1, I believe. Last time I checked on the Panthers. But the Panthers took it to the Maple Leafs game, win 4-2. So just gotta give the Panthers respect to that. It's just not like it wasn't just an upset. This is a good Panthers team, deep Panthers team. Markov for Hagee. He just went off against us. Montour, and we didn't even mention Chuck. So, didn't even mention him. Good call from Josh too with the goalie change. I mean, that was just another thing I forgot. I was wondering, hey, how do we blow this 3-1 lead? Well, they changed goalies. And Leon Lyon, I guess he did a great job for them in the regular season, but not in the postseason. And Bobrovsky's just showing off his veteranness. So, tough one, Josh, to swallow. We got a lot of questions going forward and don't have too many answers right now.
And we've got plenty of time. We've got a whole off season of timeout talks. Talks are going to pick up. Right now, it's kind of in the numb moment. It's just happened. It's still like, wow, as you mentioned, because it was just gut-wrenching. And, it was one of those things where there's no way. Like, we just came back from, It's just, it's definitely still in the numb phase. And just to Jeff's last point here, before I'll get to my quick baseball take, and then I'll turn it over to Ben to end the show as always. But, I agree with Jeff's takes on these. Like, the writing in the stars was kind of that they were going to, the writing in the wall, whatever you want to call it, was that both of those players, Krejci and Bergeron, were going to retire, this year anyways, just with age. I kind of agree, like Jeff. I feel like they still have it, but like, is that just false hope? Is that just a fool? Like, I forget the saying. Is it like fool's love or whatever it's called? Like,
Fool's gold.
Fool's gold. Like, am I just falling for it because every year I'm saying, oh, they can still do it, but maybe they just can't. I don't know. It's to the point where it's just all confusion. But one thing I do want to say, and I was just like beyond baffled to see, and like I was like upset to see, was people blaming Bergeron, saying I thought this was the guy that was going to save the series, and like I seen this like on Bruins accounts, I seen it on Twitter, I seen it in a couple of my friend groups. Like it's not on Bergeron we lost. Like you're insane to think that. As Jeff just mentioned, he was playing with a slip disc. Like this guy is the heart and soul of the team. I don't care what anybody says. Best two-way player on that ice. I'll defend him to hell and back, and that's just insane to believe. One, two. I'm gonna say two things here before we wrap up. This is the Toronto Maple Leafs season to blow in the AL. Jeez, I'm getting already excited for baseball. In the Eastern side of things, it's theirs to blow. They took out the stacked dynasty of Tampa Bay. They're going up against a tough Florida matchup. They've got the pucks in there on their ice right now for them to do it. And then you flip over to the Western side, same thing with the Oilers. It's put up or shut up now for Connor McDavid. He's chasing history. We know what he's able to do, but can he do it in the playoffs? Got a little bit of that Mike Trout to him where, he just needs that ring, needs one appearance in the finals. We'll see. That'd be a great matchup in the finals as well. That's like history written all over it. But a lot of stuff. I'm actually going to go off on a limb and say that that's what it's going to be. But yeah, I definitely hurts. And I don't know what else to say for the Bruins. And before I wrap it up, quick shout out to the Red Sox. They're killing it right now. The expectations were not as high as they were for the Yankees. I will say one thing that I think a lot of people are forgetting. A lot of the Yankees players are out right now. Carlos Rendon, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge. So that's two of your Bronx Bombers right there. One of our key closers in Jonathan Loáisiga, Luis Severino, Zach Efros, Frankie Montas, who we just traded for, was supposed to be our third pitcher. The list just goes on and on and on. Got Bader back finally, but I will end it with this. The Yankees just need to maintain distance in the AL East. They'll be fine. The Red Sox, I think reality will kind of strike, but they've been playing very well. And one thing I want to say right now that's just unbelievable is the Tampa Bay Rays. They lead the MLB in pitching and hitting. They're just a fun team to watch, and they're ranked 27th on the payroll. That's just like unbelievable. So tip of the cap to them. Hats off to their ownership and their organization. They just continue to emerge talent and develop the best talent that they can get. So, the Yankees will be fine. And Celtics in 6, Bruins, what the hell?
Perfectly said from Josh. Yankees struggling with injuries. So, Yankees fans, I know you're all out there. Rob, Josh, calm down. Don't worry. Looking back on track, unfortunately. And Red Sox hitting out of the world right now. I mean, wasn't expecting anything from this Blue Jays series, and nearing a sweep right now. Last time I checked, up 8-1 against the Blue Jays, and just sort of reeled us back to that division. This is a huge series against the Blue Jays to sweep. So I mean, getting us back into that division talks. Obviously, the Rays probably going to take it, as Josh mentioned. Leading the hitting and pitching probably puts you on the track to win the division, be one of the best teams out there, but it's just putting us back in the conversation. That's all I can ask from the Red Sox. So love seeing them. They're exciting. Had a couple of nice walk-offs against this Blue Jays series. So great to see them producing right now. Josh mentioned Bruins. Hopefully we can go on Jeff's point. Bergeron, Krejci can't retire after that moment. Hopefully they come back after that. A little tough, but we'll see. And go Celtics. Celtics in 6.